Hey, welcome to Chicago here. We're already down by the Riverwalk here. We're across from the St. Regis, tallest building designed by a female architect. We're east of Columbus here. We have a spectacular 76-degree day, partly cloudy. There you go there. And there we'll head down to the Centennial Fountain. We got 11:59. That's why I came down to this area, because we'll see if the Centennial Fountain water jet, there it goes, right on time. Look at that. There it is. There's the water cannon going across the river there. Old Faithful there, right on time. How's that for timing there? You seeing that? Yeah, Chanel, Heather B, Jonathan, that's great. Michael Anderson, yeah, thanks for being on. Rita Rack 77. Yeah, look at this nice scene there. There's the St. Regis. So yeah, you can look back to the Trump Tower. There's the Sheridan. There, they're taking pictures there. It's like a waterfall there. See, that's why if you catch the western sun, or when the sun's setting in the west in the evening, it creates a rainbow, and we got a video of that, a TikTok. Here's the Centennial Fountain. Of course, we cover this a lot, and a lot of the other Chicago live streamers have covered this as well. I know Ernie Chicago Nuggies, check him out there. He's got some good footage on this, and other live streamers. And hey, Anita's tuning in. Yeah, Anita, I saw you just sent me a message there. I'll check it after the. I just started my stream and I saw you sent a message. Otherwise, I would have checked it, and hopefully, if it's something important, let me know if I need to check that message. You know, before I keep going with my live stream there. And yeah, no one's getting wet. There were a few boats that came through here. The boats already went that way. So here, they're taking some pictures here. Let's go through here. How you doing? There, the Centennial Fountain here. Here we go, Chicago, Illinois. And there you go. They're taking a nice group shot there. That's great. There we go. Let's get the whole thing here. So I'll read it later. Okay, thanks, Anita. I saw that. Good. Yeah, you know how paranoid I am. I'm like, oh no, is it something I should be aware of before I live stream here? Hey, the kayaker's heading through here. So look, they're sticking close to the shore. So it is, you do get rained on a little bit. You see how there's a mist. And so it's like a wall of rain you got to paddle through to get underneath the water jet there. So they got a little wet, but I mean, if you're in the water, you're going to get wet anyway. But here's the Centennial Fountain here, Chicago, Illinois. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, we got a beautiful 76-degree weather day. Let's check out the progress of the 400 North Lakeshore development, this new housing that's being built near here on the August slip. And then since it's such a beautiful day, I figure we'll head over to a little bit of Navy Pier, and then we'll check out Ohio Street Beach. Maybe we'll get to Olive Park. There's such a nice view to the Streeterville skyline there. And here we're on McClurg Court, City Front Place here at the Chicago River. 400 block of McClurg Court. McClurg Court heads through Streeterville. And there's that Centennial Fountain water jet. Look how it looks from here. Right on time. Melrose Park tuning in. Lola, how you doing there? Russell. Let's see who else is tuning in here. Kalash. Yeah, so this is called the Centennial Fountain. This is called the Centennial Fountain. It's in Chicago, Illinois. It's right across from the St. Regis. St. Regis is one of the tall towers here in Chicago. It was built, I don't know, 7 years ago maybe. And 8 years ago, I don't know. It was designed by Jeannie Gang, the architect. It's the tallest building designed by a woman architect that I know of in Chicago. And I know there's many other buildings. If anybody knows of any other buildings taller than that, please correct me. Here's the 400 North lakeshore. It's getting tall, so let's go check this out. We'll go over to the Ogden Slip. There's the top of the Trump Tower. We already are past that, but there's the St. Regis there. It's called the St. Regis because of the hotel. There's a St. Regis hotel at the bottom. It used to be called the Wanda Vista, but they rebranded it, or I guess the hotel wanted them to call it the hotel name, understandably. Yeah, Nelson, how you doing there? Thirda, how you doing there? Yeah, you're looking up there. Marcus is tuning in from Memphis. That's great. He'll be back next week. That's great. The Bears. Yeah, 420 News. UK tuning. Netherlands tuning in there. People tuning in from all over the world there. So if I miss your comments here, we got a good team of mods here. So, you know, if it's something I should have caught there in the mods, please bring it to my attention there. I appreciate it. Here we're at the Ogden Slip here. There's the 400 North Lakeshore Development. It's residential. So we'll head along here. Here's some of the towers of Streeterville. You can look back to the Tribune. It's hard to see with the trees there, but here there's a Target here. It used to be a different store. This is Streeterville in Chicago. Housing north of the Loop towards the lakefront. And Navy Pier's this way. You can get to Navy Pier this way. I'll show you how to do it. You just checked out the Centennial Fountain. If you miss any part of this rerun, you can rewind it. That's the good thing about YouTube. I'm switching my live streaming operations from TikTok to YouTube. We've been on YouTube for years here, as you know, on the Lunch Bunch, but we're going to do it morning, noon, and night. And I'm letting people know, and there's many reasons for it. It's just all culminating into this, and we'll see how it goes. Here's Robert's Pizza. They got the U.S. Open. Anybody watching the U.S. Open on the TV there? I know they had the tennis matches in Cincinnati, and I guess now it's in New York City. The U.S. Open, one of the major tournaments, along with Wimbledon and the French Open. But here we'll head along the Ogden Slip. See people eat at Robert's Pizza there. I went there with Grim Evil. You can catch some of the boats here. Yeah, they got boat sales here. You can buy a boat. Hey, there I am. Springbrook. Springbrook. Let's see what the prices are here. Under $1 million. $1.7 million. There you go. That could be yours. Amazing prizes waiting to be won. Yeah, we're going to go underneath Lakeshore Drive. See, there's DuSable Lakeshore Drive there. I know it angers some people. I call it DuSable. I like Jean Baptiste Point DuSable. I know it's a tongue twister, but you know, just like I know I call the Sears Tower the Sears. Some people, they say just call it Lakeshore Drive, the original name, and I'm fine with that as well. Please don't get offended or read too much into it. I like talking about Chicago's history, so it's easy for me to just say DuSable Lakeshore Drive. And here's Dorita, the Dorita Fine Art Gallery. Oh, he's got some of his artwork out here. Dorita, award-winning artist here. Look at the colors. Look at these butterflies. Sometimes, there he is. He's in the corner there. We'll leave him alone there, but maybe someday I'll interview him. We got places to go here, so we'll go by Pinch. Mediterranean Grill here on the river here. It's a nice spot to come out here and have a lunch here. Yeah. Oh yeah, Dorita's a good artist there. Yeah, the city's grown so much. It's amazing, yeah, how much the skyline has grown even since the 26 years I've been here. I moved here in 1999, and the skyline has grown amazingly with this residential stuff, you know, both in the South Loop, the West Loop, here in Streeterville, and even throughout the Loop of Chicago. More people are living downtown because there's less people are working downtown, less people are commuting downtown, so people have converted some of the offices to housing, and they're building this new stuff. There's supposed to be 2 towers. This is 400 North Lakeview, or 400 North Lakeshore, 400 North Lakeshore, excuse me. And we've been watching it go up here for a while. And so we'll update people with the progress. Here's the tender. This is the Ogden Slip. This is Lakeshore Drive. And hey, that's good. Life comes full circle there. Sharon's tuning in there. Taco Jalapeno Salsa. Yeah, thanks for mentioning that. Yeah, thanks for you're already ahead of the curve here. You're watching me on YouTube right now, so you know where to find me live streaming, and I appreciate my audience from TikTok coming over. I know not everybody from TikTok likes YouTube. TikTok is convenient, but there's many reasons. Me as a live streamer, I'm just preparing for this M2 update. I'll still be on TikTok. I'll still post reruns on TikTok. I posted a rerun today of that squirrel. We saw the talking squirrel there in the tree, so check that out. Chris told me to post that, and I think he was right. But here's the Ogden Slip. See how you can look back to the Tribune Tower on Michigan Avenue. We often go by that in the mornings there. A beautiful day. We got 76 degrees, and we have beautiful sunshine here. What is it, August the 27th, 2025. Look how you can look back there. That's where we just came there. And here it is, the 400 North Lakeshore development. It's probably about 50 stories up here. And here, let's head over to Navy Pier here. Hey, Maudine, thank Maudine Abel there. Mohammed, how you doing there? You tuning in from North Korea? Well, good luck. Yeah, North Korea's watching, I know. Sharon, how you doing? Brett, how you doing there? Are you going to the Oasis? You're going to the Oasis. Well, maybe I'll see you there, Brett. My brother-in-law and my sister are coming into town. My brother-in-law got tickets a long time ago when they announced that concert. He's a big Oasis fan. So tomorrow I'll be working from home and waiting for them to arrive at the airport. I think they're going to take the train into town there, hop on the Blue Line, and yeah, we're going to go to the Oasis concert. So I'm going to spend a lot of time with them in real time and not be live streaming tomorrow. If I do film the concert, I'll film some reruns. I'm sure you'll have some reruns as well, or some videos. It's very hard to live stream in a concert, especially, is it at Soldier Field? I'm pretty sure it's at Soldier Field, right? Yeah. Yeah, so the Taste of Chicago's coming up. Thanks for posting the dates there, Taco. Yeah, it's next weekend. It's not this weekend. This weekend is Labor Day, the last days of August and the first day of September, which is Monday. And I'll be around Chicago for Bike to Drive. They're having Bike to Drive on Sunday. And then next week is the Taste Chicago. I'm sure Keys Carter, he tuned in last night, or Nia Azel, or Ernie, Chicago Nuggies, or Nick Koiken, or Overtime Seb, or City Walking Girl, or Jay City Walking Girl, or somebody will be covering it. Steve Lyon will probably be there, or Alexander Chicago, he's on his world tour, or United States tour, traveling all the states. Is there any other people Vicky, I don't know if Vicky's going to do it. We got so many great Chicago live streamers. Maybe Jody GTV might even be doing something from the Taste of Chicago, we'll see. But Steve Lyon, I'm glad we ran into Jeremy earlier this week, and he said he got Steve Lyon up to his rooftop as well for the Air and Water Show. That was great. But here, let's head over to Navy Pier. Here we just walked. See, there's the bike. This is the bike flyover. And you can ramp right down in Navy Pier. There's the Coast Guard. We go by here many times here. Look like London? Hey, thanks for tuning in from London. Yeah, we're in Chicago. We're in Chicago. Does it look like the Thames? Look at the 400. There's the 400 North Lakeshore development. And look at the clouds here. So they're going to call this DuSable Park once it's finally developed. It's kind of tied to this development, and it's been a super fun brownfield remediation site. The old days around World War II, they had a clock or a watch factory where they used glow in the dark radium paint. And people used to take the brushes and put it in their mouth, and it was radioactive, and a lot of people got adversely affected by that, and so they had to clean up the site. It was a brownfield polluted site, an old industrial site at the mouth of the Chicago River, and this whole area was very much industrial 100 years ago, as you can imagine. Even this area here that's changed became residential, and Navy Pier's changed even too. But you can catch the water taxis here. They'll take you down the river there. Ed Music, how you doing there? Gemma, how you doing there? Yeah. Oh, the mansion on Lakeview in Roslyn was sold on Monday. Hey, thanks for the good information, Ed Music. Yeah, that's the one we go by there. I'll have to check it out. That's near where I live there. Thanks for the good info there. So, hey, thanks for checking the housing market there. See, people are getting on the large barge here, filing on. They're going to take a river cruise. You can take the architectural cruise. It's a great way to see the sights. And we'll just, since the sun's out, let's check out Navy Pier here, and then we'll head over to Ohio Street Beach and go back through Streeterville. We got 12:15 in the PM here. Thanks for being on YouTube. India, thanks for tuning in from India. See, that's another positive of being on YouTube. I know India, TikTok's banned in India, so on YouTube here we have access to the most populous country on earth, India. It's not China. And thanks for tuning in. That's great. Wes, thanks. Yeah, tell them Large Marge sent you. Yeah, Large Marge from Pee Wee Herman's Big Adventure. That's one of my favorite parts. When I was a kid, we would stop and rewind that with the claymation. Large Marge, her eyes got really big there. She was the ghost. Well, today's the anniversary. I have people that on the whatever the date is on that movie when Large Marge, died there. They'll say, well, today's Large Marge's birthday, and they'll send me a clip from it. My friends, it's awesome. Here, Navy Pier. Let's go check out Navy Pier. There's the Ferris wheel. What a beautiful day. The fountain's still on. See, we take this for granted. We've had this nice, beautiful summer and all the fountains and everything. Everything's green. And we'll head into the fall, and then slowly but surely, all this starts reversing. I'm not in India. I was replying to someone in the comments. I thought they were tuning in from India. So that's why I mentioned that. We got comments, people comment from all over the world. Sometimes people mention whether it's like people are tuning in from London. We're in Chicago. People are tuning in from all over the United States. My regulars, lunch bunch here. But here, Navy Pier here. Yeah, let's head across. And we'll check out the sights here. Yeah, I'm in Illinois. This is Chicago. This is United States of America. This is called Navy Pier in Chicago. Chicago is the third most populous city in the United States after New York and LA. And here's the reunion by Chef Art Smith here. Get your famous fried chicken here, Art Smith. There he is. I guess that's Art right there. Seems like I recognize the guy. And here, Navy Pier, Chicago, Illinois. This is Lake Michigan. We have 76 degrees Fahrenheit. What is that? 22 Celsius, 23, I don't know. Somebody have the conversion there. And here's Harry Carey's. Harry Carey's, of course. This morning we went by the Harry Carey's in the near north there, just north of the river on Dearborn. But here's how you can sit in the glove there. You get your photo there at Harry Carey's there. And here you can catch the water taxi. See people take pictures. This is Hebrew Brantley's classical signature flyboy character there that you see on sides of buildings and stuff. And there it is in 3D form there. Navy Pier. So you can catch the shoreline sightseeing there. You go up to the window there. You get on this. They can take you out in the lake over to the museum campus. Hey, they're playing Daft Punk here. They added these. This is really nice. You got shade here. We got shade here at this portion of Navy Pier. And they updated this a little bit. Teach Chicago lesson because the current president doesn't like our mayor, which is understandable because they're on opposite sides of the political spectrum. So our president is punishing the largest cities like New York, Chicago. The president of the United States of America is punishing LA and Chicago by sending the National Guard without going through the governors, and that should be the separation of powers that we always talk about. Governors are supposed to be the ones that do the National Guard, but that's my opinion. Your opinion might differ. You might want a king here's Navy Pier. Here's the merry-go-round. Here's the Ferris wheel. Thanks for tuning in here. Hey, let's check out the skyline here. So that's the South Loop skyline down by Roosevelt, and then here's the Lakeshore East skyline, part of the skyline of Chicago. Most of that's residential, and there's the new 400 North Lakeview. We went by that, and here's all the Streeterville, back to Lake Point Tower there. Yeah, why are we treating our allies like India worse than our enemies? I know, with higher tariffs, don't ask me why either. You're bringing up good points here. I asked the same questions there. Thanks, my good smart audience here. So they got a stage here. See, they got the boat out. They got the larger boats. They got those big Odyssey dinner cruise boats and stuff. You have to pay. You have to pay to take the Ferris wheel. It's pretty expensive. These are a la carte. It's free to walk around here, but it costs money to actually take the rides. And here, 12:20 here. Yeah, let's head around here. I know I don't mean to be shaking the camera around so much. I'm trying to figure out which direction I'm going to go. So we got 12:20 in the p.m. here, Chicago time. We're at lunchtime. This is my lunch break from work. And so we have a beautiful 76-degree Fahrenheit day. I figured this would be a good day to come to Lake Michigan here, Navy Pier, our lakefront. And with these beautiful clouds here, while it's still summertime, enjoy summer. And there's the Maryland, the Shoreline water taxi coming in probably from the museum campus. There's the Sea Dog. Sea Dogs will take you out like a speedboat and get you wet out there in the lake. Yeah, so a lot of American cities experience crime, not just in Democratic run states, also in Republican run states. People point out that even the cities with high crime in red states have Democratic mayors, and that's just the politics of big city politics. Usually the larger the city, the more it leans to the left. That's been happening long before the age of Trump and long before the age of Biden. And I don't know why it surprises anybody that cities are more liberal than the countryside. It's just the way America sorts itself out politically, you know. And issues that people deal with in the country are different than issues that people deal with the cities, and vice versa. Hey, there I am multiple times there. There's Brian, really Chicago, in the mirrors here. Look at that. So if I go back here, I'm actually like multiple times here. So there I am. See, look, I can see myself 3 times there. Hello, how you doing there? So what do we got here? 12:22. You know, let's see if I can get out to the end of Navy Pier by 12:30. I wasn't planning on going all the way out to the end, but there's the Bob Newhart statue. And I know people ask me about the Bob Newhart statue. We've gone out there a few times. I haven't been out there in a while because it takes a long time to walk out to the end of Navy Pier. I used to lose my connection coming out here, but lately it's been holding on. So let's quickly take the next 7 minutes and see if we can get all the way to the end of Navy Pier. We'll walk past. This is the Shakespeare Theater. They of course play Shakespeare here. We'll go past the Windy. The Windy is docked here. A lot of times the Windy's out in the lake. They got the sails down, but it's a clipper ship, and it's another way you can experience the lake. Just like these Odyssey large ships here, which they're dinner cruise boats. The city cruises there by Hornblower, the Odyssey, and then I guess Shoreline has one as well. No clouds. Chemtrails. Yeah, there's chemtrails too. Here's the Fred A. Bussey there. There it is. So here, let's get the Fred A. Bussey. Fred A. Bussey's out here by Navy Pier. The Fred A. Bussey fireboat. It goes, we usually see it going in and out of the Chicago River. There's the Windy Chicago. That's the back of that clipper ship. And they do sail it like a sailboat. There's the Fred A. Bussey fireboat. You can tour that as well. It's a retired fireboat. The Christopher Wheatley is the currently functioning fireboat that patrols the river. There's the Odyssey. But here, let's tall ship. Billy Goats. There's a Billy Goats out here. There's the Sable Hotel. We'll go by the Sable Hotel. But here's the Windy sailing tours. Does anybody remember before the pandemic, they used to have the tall ships? They would come in the river, and they would all these old clipper ships from the old days. would every other year would. I hope they would bring that back. Yeah, having your oversharing there, no one wants to know that. And if you continue to do it, my moderators will block you. There's your warning. You know, please act with a little maturity. I don't know what your age is there, but if you're an adult, that's pretty pathetic. Here, rainbow cone. Look at the original rainbow cone. Margie, how you doing there? Yeah, you know, if you run a nightclub or a restaurant, you got to have bouncers. There'll always be somebody. Not that we're trying to curtail anybody's free speech. This is not free speech. How many times do I have to give this speech? This is monetized social media speech, which there's all these terms and conditions. They could turn it off at any time. You have to pay a telecommunication company. What's free about the speech? Nothing. They're making money off of you and me as we use it. They're selling advertising to you. What free speech comes with advertising? Here, Chicago Elite. They're conditioning us to accept it. When they change the terms and conditions, no one questions it. We should question it. And that's why I'm moving to YouTube here. Here's, yeah, we're at Navy Pier here, Chicago, Illinois. Thanks for tuning in here. Thoughts on Philadelphia. So I like Philadelphia. It has a lot of history. What does that have to do with Navy Pier? I appreciate it. Did anything happen in Philadelphia? I saw that there was a school shooting in Minnesota. Did anything bad happen in Philadelphia? I know did they have a garbage strike in Philadelphia? That's over, right? The garbage strike's over. But yeah. So hey, here's the 1226. Hey, we're gonna make it. We're gonna head out to the tip of Navy Pier here. There's the Bob Newhart statue. Does anybody remember Bob Newhart? I know younger generation. They're like, Bob who? I'm like, you ever see? If the younger generations know Bob Newhart, they probably know it from that show with the Big Bang Theory. They know it from the Big Bang Theory. He played the Jedi Knight Obi-Wan guy that was a figment of Sheldon's imagination, and of course he was in Buddy the Elf there in the. I guess that came out 15-20 years ago. But before that, he had a show called Newhart that was set in Vermont, and before that he had a show in Chicago called the Bob Newhart Show, where he was a psychiatrist or psychologist or whatever he was, and that was his classic deadpan comedy where he would use the phone and you would imagine the other end of the conversation, and he did that so well. And then they did the whole thing where his wife, in the last episode of the second thing, the wife from his first show, it was all a dream, like JR there. But here's the Lyrica. See, I never see, at the Sable Hotel, they got this Lyrica dining bar here, wine bar. We're at the tip of Navy Pier. They got a big bar out here, a big roof deck, and then they got the rotunda. There's a rotunda, tip of Navy Pier there. Yeah, that's fine, that's why, yeah. You saw Bob Newhart do his stand-up in 1986. Chris knows Bob Newhart. I bet that was great. He was huge then. He was still coming off of that show. That was when he had the second show, yeah. My brother Daryl, my other brother Daryl. Here's the Captain Streeter. It's a water taxi. Captain Streeter there, shoreline sightseeing. So here, let's head through here. Tip of Navy Pier here. So this is called Navy Pier in Chicago, Illinois. Here comes the does anybody not like scroll back in the comments to try to figure out on your own where we're at here? I appreciate it. Thanks for asking. Here's the lighthouse, and it's in my name, Brian Really Chicago, and I titled this Chicago Streetwalking, but I guess you don't see that, and I understand here. So thanks for asking. Here, well, welcome to Lake Michigan. We'll show you some views to the Chicago skyline, so maybe it'll give you a better reference of where we're at here. See, there's the lighthouse and the mouth of Monroe Harbor there. And there goes the Fred A. Bussey. There we can see the skyline of Chicago. We're almost a half a mile out here in the lake. Here comes the Sea Dog. And there's the lighthouse. I've kayaked out to that lighthouse, and it's an amazing view, as you may imagine. There was a guy that lived there in the 1970s. He got married out there, but then the winters got too hard. He was stuck out there with the ice, and so I don't know how he cooked up that deal either. You know, how do you rent a lighthouse? But he must have had connections. Yeah, that's good. Well, here's, look at the, yeah, I got a gimbal here, so the gimbal helps out. There's the rotunda at the end of Navy Pier. There's a big, see the offshore rooftop there? That's supposedly like one of the largest rooftop bars there. They usually on weekends. The weekends they'll have a band here. They usually got live entertainment. Here goes the Coast Guard or something heading across the lighthouse here. Maddie, how you doing there? Yeah, Matt, I know Matt. Hey, Matt, so I was talking, I don't know if you remember, you don't know Casey Locker. Casey Locker is my friend. Taco, you know Casey Locker now. He's a good guy. He's from Cincinnati. And this is how nobody did anything wrong. Everything's fine. We laughed about it. I talked to him about it. And I know Taco knows, like yesterday, I get too agitated when people ask me to go places and stuff. And my mods were doing the right thing. They were making sure I didn't lose my cool and start cursing and stuff, which I shouldn't never do. But somebody was like telling me to go to the south side or the, you know, where I'm, and I was losing it, and they were like, walk here, walk here. They were making demands, and so my great mods did the right thing and you know, muted their live. And then my friend Casey from Cincinnati, which is not my cousin Casey, he's a different guy, and he goes, walk to Cincinnati. And Taco, I think Taco or Chris or Anita or somebody, they thought that they were the, and he got muted, and he goes, I just told you to, he was joking, but we couldn't tell. And that's the problem with comments. If you don't put an emoji or we don't know who you are, sometimes comments can get misinterpreted. And he's fine. He wasn't mad about it. We just laughed about it because he said, walk to Cincinnati. And I probably muted him. I'm probably the one that did it, because you know how I get flustered, and I know it's frustrating dealing with a Jekyll and Hyde person like me. Bob Newhart, I needed Bob Newhart's services. I need a psychiatrist here. But there's Bob Newhart. They're checking him out there. There he is, Bob Newhart. They're going to take a picture. Yeah, see, you can sit right there. I'm going to do the same thing, and you can take a picture with Bob Newhart. And here we are at the tip of Navy Pier. Let's watch this sailboat go by the lighthouse here. Look at that. So we walked all the way to the tip of Navy Pier. This is as far as you can go. And see, there's the Bob Newhart. We'll check it out after they're done with it. I remember the day he died, we came out here and I was looking at it, and someone was like, who is that? And I said, it's Bob Newhart. And they said, we thought so, but we weren't for sure. And there's not a plaque or anything. So, you know, unless you know or see my video here. But hey, yeah, you take your picture there with Bob Newhart. They got picnic tables out here. They got the flags, and there's a nice rotunda there. Yeah, everybody's taking the pictures there with, yeah, Bob Newhart. Yeah, that's great. See, that's exactly how it's supposed to be there. He used to be way over there, and they moved him out here. South Africa, thanks for tuning in there. Yeah, you can do the hokey pokey. Turn yourself around. Yeah, they're all taking pictures there. So they just beat me to it. I walked all the way out here, and we'll wait till they're done there, and then I'll rush to get back to work. I got a long way to go to get back to work here, so we'll see if we can do it. Here's the anchor here. And if you walk around here, maybe we'll just do this. Maybe this will expedite my walk back to work here. I'll show you the view I was going to show you from Ohio Street Beach. See, this is Olive Park, and this is the Jardine water plant. And then if you go to the north side of Navy Pier, this is where they added all these transient boat slips on the north side of Navy Pier. And you can look back and see a great view to the Chicago skyline, the Streeterville skyline with the John Hancock. That's all up North Michigan Avenue there. And there's the Jardine water plant. You can look all the way up the North Shore of Chicago. But hey, look at that great skyline there. Look at the clouds. And then here's the rotunda. Let's see if we can peep in the window here. I don't know with the glare. I might not be able to catch it here. So yeah, they moved the Bob Newhart statue around many times. Yeah, I think probably at one time it was on Michigan Avenue. Then they moved it out by Navy Pier, And then they, see the doors are locked. There's a rotunda in there. It's hard to see. There, you can see the rotunda. There's a rotunda in there. And on my original count, we went there. Matt, do you remember we came here when you were here 2 years ago? And it was in the wintertime, and we went out to the tip of Navy Pier for Chinese New Year, and they were doing the Chinese traditional dances and things like that. So there's some other people checking out Bob Newhart. That's great. I'm glad Bob's popular here. Here's the Bob Newhart statue in Chicago, Illinois here. Isn't that great? Yeah, let's check him out here. Yeah, they're taking some photos. Bob Newhart, tip of Navy Pier. There he is. How you doing there, Bob? He's got his notepad. They should have put a telephone here. He's got a pencil. Does that look like somebody like painted something on his eyes there? It's Bob Newhart. See, I want to do this. See, I can put my Bob needs to psychoanalyze me here because you know I got some anger issues. We all know that. What do you say, Bob? Hey, here comes. Look at this. We got the big dinner cruise boat heading out here. So let's reverse this. And 61 likes. Thanks everybody. If you like this content, just double tap the screen there. Give me a thumbs up. It's free and it helps more people push this content so more people can discover this and say, hey, where are you at? What city is this? And then they can say, you got horrible crime. I hate your city. So hit that like button so that could happen. Yeah, did you see that? Where's Prince? Prince told me to get a haircut yesterday. I'm waiting for Prince to come in. He's not in today. I'll be like, thanks for telling me to get a haircut. He must be a Rusty Scissors Beautify America. He wants me to join the military. Thank you. Thanks for the likes here. I'm just happy you're watching me on YouTube. We'll make this the whole production pipeline. We'll still post reruns on TikTok. I'm not leaving TikTok. I don't trust it to live stream, especially once they do the terms and condition updates and everybody keeps asking me. Read them for yourself. See if you agree with them. Here's the City Cruises heading out. Look at the size of this ship. 1, 2, 3 stories, 4 stories with the roof, the poop deck. Poop deck's the on the back there. That's like the old clipper ships. It's usually the poop deck's above where the captain's quarters are in the back usually. I had to look that up. I didn't really know that off the top of my head. There's the City Cruises there. Good. See, there's positive, negatives to everything, you know. TikTok keeps messing around. We got all these 3-month extensions and it's in limbo and they keep changing the terms and conditions and they keep, you know, people get random violations and they're confusing and they're like, why did I get a violation? And it's not just me. I'm glad it's not just me because, you know, it's very, even like McRae, like he'll send a message and they won't even let him send a message. And it shows they read everything you write on there. And you call that free speech? Sounds like Big Brother to me. Here's, and we always thought it would come from China. It's coming from the United States. Here's the shoreline here, the Captain Streeter. So here we're at Navy Pier, Chicago, Illinois, 76 degrees here. We're heading back towards, so, Andy, I know you didn't mean to sound like a command. If you say please or could you please show it at nighttime, I might be more amenable. Don't make it sound like a command. Don't treat me like a horse. I know that was not your intention. And people just chime in with what they want to see. I do have videos of this at nighttime. We came out to view the fireworks. So if you come out here at wintertime, follow me on YouTube and TikTok. Send me a message. Say, hey, I'm the guy that asked you for some nighttime views of Navy Pier. I'll send you about 6 videos when I was here at night. I'm not going to come back here tonight just for you. Oh, I don't think you expected that either. So thanks for asking. Here's the Dippin' Dots. This is my lunch break at work. Hit the like button if you like this. Hit the like button if you want me to come back at night. And then I'll do it 6 months from now when you won't be watching. Here's, see, City Cruises here. Here's the Sable Hotel. So Prince, why did you ask me to get a haircut yesterday? Please answer. Prince, do you give other people advice about their hairstyles? I know you probably were joking. Please tell me you were joking, because I showed my face and then you hurt my feelings by saying I need to shave my beard and get a haircut. Why would you say that to somebody, Prince? Do you treat your wife that way? How you doing there, Chris? I've never gotten so much free advice. I've had people with, like, 20 followers. They're like, well, let me tell you what you're doing wrong with your channel. I would monetize it this way. And they want me to, like, sell their business or something. And I'm like, I can't even sell my own business here, And you're giving me advice. Okay, Prince, please don't do that again. It's not funny. I know you think it's funny, like you thought it hurt my feelings. And I know that wasn't your intention. I don't tell you how to style your hair. I accept you as you are, Prince. And I know you were just... Jokes do not work well in the comment scroll. I know D. Michael's even got in trouble. D. Michael's great. We like D. Michael. Even sometimes D. Michael, even though we misinterpret his jokes. And if you don't read them as jokes, they sound hurtful. And it's just because jokes are horrible in the comment scroll. And I have a complex about people saying show my face, because people are concerned that I'm ICE, because my president tolerates people being thrown in the back of vans without identifying themselves, and I'm very angry about that. It's part of the reason I'm switching to YouTube, because I don't trust TikTok being taken over by the current administration. Here's the Wendy, but I appreciate you tuning in here. And I know that wasn't your intention. Thanks for clarifying. Thanks for tuning in there. Here's the Wendy. Don't never be a sensitive man. Never show emotion as a man. Never show anger. There's nothing but negatives that come from showing emotion or anger as a man. You'll only be penalized from it. You have to be stoic. You have to just take the trolls and accept it and not take it personally. And you think at my age I'd be over it by now, but I feel like I'm in high school. Hey, there we go. We got a nice picture here. Hey, we got the pirate hats here. Hey, they dressed up for their occasion. So you come out to the Windy, you dress up as a pirate here. Yeah, look at that. You got the pirate, the parrot. Yeah. We're gonna take a nice tour on the ship there. Yeah, Brad, we're gonna send the National Guard to your house there. Yeah, taxes are really expensive. Again, I'm not showing the city to convince anybody to move here, vacation here, pay taxes, buy real estate. Stay away. This city's not for everybody, and I'm not trying to promote it as something that it's not. It's got a lot of problems, but it's got a lot of positives, and we shouldn't throw away a great American city over politics. Chicago, New York, and LA are parts of our economy. I know the rest of the country hates us. We feel your hatred. You hate our mayor. You hate big city politics. You don't live in big cities. I don't expect you to. Big cities have different politics than the countryside. If we can learn to tolerate each other, and a lot of the migrant crisis we have in Chicago was manufactured by the Texas Governor Abbott, and it was and DeSantis in Florida. They purposely made the decision to transport people across state lines to do political points, and then we're being used as a we're pointing to as a bad example. We're like kids that need to be punished. Welcome to Chicago here. Look at that nice skyline there. There's the Sea Dog. And these are just my opinions. I don't expect your opinions to agree with mine. Actually, I really don't expect anybody's opinions to agree with mine. They're my own. What works for me doesn't work for you. Not many people can live in a high-tax city like this with high crime and high cost of living. That's why I don't have a car. It's trade-offs. But for me, I can just walk to this. People tune in to see, they say how beautiful it is, And so hey, it's par for the course. I have to accept it. It's how it is. So thanks for tuning in to Welcome Chicago here, beautiful 76 degrees. My mods, thanks for doing a great job to everybody else in the lunch bunch. And we'll continue heading on there. That's good, Brad. Stay away. That's fine with me. And thanks for watching. You can see, at least give me a like here. I'm allowing you to see what you'll never see, because you know I don't expect you to come to Illinois. I don't expect you to come to Chicago. That's fine. Why are you watching right now? That's the question. So if you don't like Illinois, why are you watching? That's what I want to know. You're waiting for me to get mugged is what you're doing. I know. A lot of people tune in for that. You know, and that's why I react badly too. I know the south side and the west side are undercover. That's why people want me to go there. They want me to go there and prove that I get mugged going there. That's what they, you know, I know what's going on. And there are people that tune in that live on the southwest side of Chicago, and they just want me to cover their neighborhoods because, as they know, because they live there, there's many beautiful areas on the south and west side. And it's not all crime ridden. There's people that go to school, go to church there, and pay taxes and do the best they can. And Chicago's vast. Chicago's huge. There, we already shown the Huber Brantley flyboy here. And thanks for tuning in. Navy Pier here. What time we got? 12:45. So unfortunately, I don't have time to go to Ohio Street Beach or Streeterville because, well, we'll go through Streeterville. We'll just reverse this. We'll head back to the Riverwalk. And we'll probably end up right back at the Centennial Fountain. Maybe we'll be able to catch the Centennial Fountain when it shoots the water jet a second time. We've gone had a few times where I catch it at noon and I catch it at 1. And so if you missed it, stay on. We're going to head back to the Riverwalk along the Ogden Slip, and we'll try to get to the Centennial Fountain by 1 p.m. and then we'll win the live there. So thanks for tuning in. Navy Pier, Chicago, Illinois. I'm Brian Really Chicago. I usually stream on TikTok, but we're doing this more on YouTube. I've been streaming at lunchtime on YouTube for 2 years now. I appreciate the lunch bunch for tuning in there. Thanks, Ryan. Thanks for accepting me. I accept you. I'm a pretty tolerant person. I accept people that have different viewpoints than mine. I just don't understand when they bash me for trying to not agreeing with every point they make. When have Americans ever agreed about anything? You know, that's democracy's hard. A country as large as this and diverse as this, how do we keep it all together? That's the challenge, you know. And look at this nice view. You get to the John Hancock. This is Lake Point Tower. And then here's the water fountain there. People, you can run through that. Polk Brothers Pavilion. Here's the People's Energy Pavilion. They got restrooms and information here. Sometimes they'll have artwork and things here. Yeah, 234 square miles. It would take a while to cover that on foot. And I can't be everything everywhere at once. That's just the city. That's not even, we have over 100 suburbs. More people live in the suburbs than live in the city of Chicago. We got 9.5 million people in the metro area. We got 2.7 in the city. So well over 5-6 million people live outside of that 234, whatever Chris mentioned their area. And that's not even Indiana and Wisconsin. And there's people that commute from Indiana and Wisconsin, northwest Indiana, all the way to the dunes there beyond Michigan City. There will it actually feels pretty warm here. It actually feels almost like 80, but we're like 76 degrees here. Pretty pleasant day here. The sun's out. This shows the lakefront trail. Bike taxis here. People queuing up to get on the shoreline. See, you can go up to the bike path there, the lakefront bike path. They got the flyover that goes over Chicago River. So Oprah used to live here or have a place here, but I think she sold it. She's totally in California now. I remember when they had the going away party for her. They had a parade on Michigan Avenue. Anybody remember that? But her studios there in the West Loop, the old Harpo Studios, is now where McDonald's has its Fortune 500 headquarters, and we've gone there before. Here's the Ogden Slip. We're just reversing our steps here. Christopher, yeah, you've been one of the suburbs. Oh, did you go up to Evanston? Yeah. Thanks for checking that out. I don't know if you took the red line or the purple line up to Evanston. I saw you were up in Uptown. Yeah, I saw your video when you were in Uptown. That's great. Thanks for checking out that area, Argyle. There's another urban planner that I see he lives in Uptown, Argyle there, and he's been posting a lot of content. Does anybody run into him? His content. he was talking about the Schlitz tide houses, but he talks about some of the same planning issues. I need to get with him. I discovered, you know, like Malik the photographer, Malik there, the firefighter there on the south side. Amazing content. He stops people and takes their photographs, interviews them all over the city. He's much better at covering the whole city than I am. And Malik the photographer, I think many of you know who I'm talking about there. And I was at the Bud Billiken parade and someone was bashing the firefighters, and I'm like, you're gonna need Malik the firefighter one day. Don't bash the firefighters on the south side, you know. And they didn't. They replied nothing. They didn't even read my comment, you know. People leave a nasty comment and they never check back. That's just how it is. But hey, welcome to Chicago, the Ogden Slip here. Starsky and Hutch, there you go. Updog, where's Updog? Is that a hot dog place? Thanks for tuning in there. I've heard of, let's see here. Yeah, no ketchup on the hot dogs, you're right about that. Oh, the Royals play the Sox, 6:40. Thanks, Taco, for the good information there. Cubs versus Giants, 8:45. So the Cubs are playing the Giants. That's good. Vancouver, that's great. Thanks for tuning in from Canada. Chris, thanks for the... Yeah, Toronto's probably the closest analog to Chicago as far as size and skyline and economic importance. I know Toronto's the largest city in Canada, but there's a beautiful skyline. It's a Great Lakes city. Montreal is a lot different, of course, because different culture, the French Quebec culture. But and Vancouver is like the LA of... I know that's a bad comparison. Vancouver is the West Coast city of Canada, but Toronto's the largest city in Canada, and it's a Great Lakes city. But it's Chicago. This is the Ogden Slip here. We'll go past Dorita here again. Taylor, how you doing there? You're in Toronto when you were 10. What, Tom? How you doing there? Naperville, that's great. Thanks for tuning in there. See, Chicagoland. So no, this is a little side branch of the Chicago River. So it's the same level as the Chicago River, which is pretty much a canal at this point. This is a little bit lower than Lake Michigan, but it's pretty much Lake Michigan water. And here's the there was a little hole there. I gotta watch where I'm walking. This is the 400 North Lakeshore development. I'm trying to get a gap in the trees here, and there's holes here where the trees used to be. There it is, the 400 North Lakeview development site. We've been watching the progress of this. There's going to be 2 towers. They're building the north tower first. We don't know if they're going to start the second tower or when they're going to start the second tower. New Mexico, how you doing there, Doreen? Hey, thanks for tuning in here, Doreen. Yeah, Taylor. Colorado, Divine Sunshine, how you doing there? Yeah, the sky. Yeah, see how this clouds reflect in the curtain wall there. This is the Ogden Slip, Chicago, Illinois. We crossed under DeSable Lakeshore Drive. Now we're heading towards McCurd Court. We got 12:53. We're going to try to get to the Centennial Fountain. And it shoots a water jet over the Chicago River. We saw it at the beginning, every hour on the hour, and we'll try to catch it here. And that's good. Doing great. Rocky Mountain High. Yeah, we'll sing the John Denver song. So Taylor, thanks for asking that. I've been consistently streaming at lunchtime on YouTube for the last 2 years. Usually, you know, I have a corporate office job. I work for an architecture engineering firm, and so I usually walk downtown. In the morning, I walk home at night. Usually I do that on TikTok. I'm going to switch to doing my morning, noon, and evening after 5 p.m. commutes to work. I walk to and from work. I don't have a car. Here's the Dorita. So we'll be on YouTube, but we've been doing this lunchtime stream for 2 years here. Here's Dorita Fine Art Gallery. And there he is. There's Dorita right there. He's signing his name right there. Signing his latest work of art there. That's a beautiful painting there. Look at that. We're seeing him sign. Dorita signing his artwork there. You can buy it there. Dorita artwork here. Right on the Ogden Slip here. Hey Ernie, how you doing there? Thanks for tuning in there. Appreciate it. So Ernie, I'll be around this weekend for the... Well, check out Ernie Chicago Nuggies there on both TikTok and YouTube. I'll be doing the bike the drive there on Sunday. My aunt's going to be in town. I probably won't be live streaming much tomorrow because my sister's coming in town, and we're going to the Oasis concert, the band there from England. And but next weekend for the Taste of Chicago, I'm going to be out of town. I'm going to be at my father's house in southern Indiana in the country. I don't know if you or, you know, Overtime Seb or Nick Koiken or anybody's going to be doing the Taste of Chicago. People were asking about the Taste of Chicago. I know I saw Keys Impact. Keys Carter was there last year. Nia Azel was there last year. Of course, this Gemini will be covering the Taste of Chicago, which is the weekend after Labor Day. I'll be out of town, so you'll have to rely on Steve Lyon or Jody GTV or Chicago Nuggies, Ernie, or somebody will be covering it. And thanks for tuning in there. We're at the Ogden Slip here. We went to Navy Pier. I'm going to try to get back to the Centennial Fountain by 1 o'clock to see if it launches there. And yeah, happy birthday. Everybody wish Ernie a happy birthday. I even know they celebrated with Nick Koiken and Overtime Seb. Overtime Seb's was much earlier in August. Ernie's birthday is, what, is it today or this week? Ernie's having a birthday there. So everybody wish Ernie Chicago Nuggies a happy birthday. Thanks, Chris, for mentioning that. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, thanks, Taco Jalapeno Salsa. Thanks for wishing Ernie, a fellow Chicago live streamer there, Chicago Nuggies, happy birthday. It's your birthday. Ogden Slip, River East. Look at the clouds. What a beautiful day. Yeah, see, you're lucky. You get your birthday in the summertime. I get mine in the winter. But usually that means I can take a vacation. Take a vacation to somewhere warm. Yeah, Sheridan. Thanks everybody for wishing Ernie a happy birthday there. That's great. So hey, we got 12:56. We're gonna make it. I didn't think I was gonna make it back here. Actually, we got time to spare. So here, welcome to Chicago. We're in Streeterville. We're on McClurg Court here. We should say hello to Darren Monroe. I was talking to Darren Monroe earlier today. Darren Monroe lives around here. I think a lot of you know. Follow Darren Monroe as well. He's on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. Darren Monroe's everywhere, and he's getting away from TikTok as well. And he was huge. He built an account 200,000 from zero. Built it up to 200,000. His first account was 135 or whatever, and built the second one at 200. He knows what he's doing. He's a marketing guru. Your birthday's the first day autumn? Oh, it's September 21st or September 20th. That's great. Hey, Margie R. We'll try to remember that. That's good. Hey, thanks, Ernie. Bright sunshine, yeah. Brad, #1 Big Mac meal. Thank you. Thanks everybody for wishing the happy birthdays there. So hey, the sun's behind it. We got 12:57. So we got time to get in place for the Centennial Fountain. So once the Centennial Fountain goes, we'll win this live, but we'll wait till it launches here. While we're waiting, let's go underneath it here. If they let us, they got a ladder here. Ernie's covered this fountain at night. It's beautiful at night. Here's the Centennial Fountain, the Nicholas J. Mila's Centennial Fountain, Pleasant Fountain. And this is the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago. This is called the Centennial Fountain because it commemorates the 100th anniversary of the reversing of the Chicago River, when they reversed the river from flowing into the lake into flowing, now it flows towards the Mississippi. And it's kind of slippery in there. Here comes the Evening Star. Here comes a tour boat. The tour boat's going to get underneath here before the jet shoots so the people won't get wet. Sometimes when it's really hot in years past, they would run the boats underneath the water cannon, but they've been stopping lately. So we'll see if this boat turns sideways so people can take pictures of it. It's about to launch here, 12:58. So in a minute and a half here, we'll watch the... Yeah, it's an odd pool. It's a really strange fountain, I know. It's very unique. I mean that in a good way. I like it. I call it a little Niagara Falls. See, we got the shoreline here going right in front. The water cannon's going to shoot out there. And this is the Centennial Fountain. See, we walked underneath there. We got 12:59. So we'll get in position here. Here comes another boat. There's Lucia. There's Appalachia Drive. That's Lake Michigan's that way. This is the St. Regis. Boats going by here. So let's get back a little bit so maybe you can see this thing. So if you just joined, we're in Chicago here. We're at the Centennial Fountain. We got a beautiful day, August the 27th, 2025, 76 degrees. And we just came back from Navy Pier, and at 1 o'clock, in less than 1 minute, a water cannon should, there it goes. Yeah, there it is, right on time. There's the water cannon shooting across the Chicago River. Thanks for tuning in. Oh, I'm getting blurry here. The mist is making my camera blurry. See how they turn the boat sideways so they can everybody can get a photo of the water cannon over the Chicago River. And this is the Centennial Fountain. I'm getting the mist here, so let's go to the other side. The wind's blowing the mist this way. You can go right down and put your feet into the water. I've seen people do it. Here's the water cannon. Here it is. Yeah, there it is. Look at the water cannon there. Yeah, look at it. Very beautiful. There's that. Very nice. And you would never want to put your hand there. That's such high pressured water. It would tear the flesh right off your skin there. It's like a fire hose. And here's the Centennial Fountain here in Chicago, Illinois. Hey, he's cleaning it. Hey, he's working on the fountain there. It's good. So hey, have a great day, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. If you missed any part of this, we went to Navy Pier. We went out to the Bob Newhart statue. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you later from Chicago. I really appreciate it, and have a great day, everybody. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon. Thanks for watching on YouTube. Appreciate it. UK, that's good. We'll see you after 5 o'clock on TikTok. This will probably be one of my last, if not the last, live stream on TikTok in a long time. So I'll turn the comments on and we'll say good. It's not a goodbye, it's a new beginning. And I'll make sure everybody knows that I'm going to be here. You'll still be able to find me on YouTube, and you guys already found me here, so thanks a lot. All right, we'll see you later. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Have a great day. Thanks, mods. You guys are great. And Ernie, happy birthday. Thanks a lot.